I don't know about you guys, but I've been thinking recently that maybe allowing giant digital media corporations to exploit the neurochemical drama of our children for profit. Maybe that was a bad call by us.
Entertainment media may be used as a vehicle for speculative consideration of the impact that technology has on the human experience. For this research question workshop, I'll be reviewing and analyzing a past Digital Futures Master's Thesis project and making connections to my own project. The work I will be considering is Playtime for Punctum, Augmented Roleplay, created in 2020 by Nick Alexander, who is a mixed reality interaction designer with a background as a writer and theater director. Nick's practice explores the relationship between performer, player, and space, asking participants to play in altered realities. By inhabiting fictional worlds, we might perhaps come to better understand the real one. There's a lot of overlap between the focus of our projects, and it will be valuable to reflect on the approach, framework, and outcome of Nick's work. Using a technology stack, stereoscopic camera, hand tracking, and virtual reality, a combination of live video feed and virtual elements are integrated into a mixed reality experience featuring a player and a performer. The mix of live video with virtual augmentation allows access to expressive capabilities, sharing affordances with games, performance, and role-playing. The production, called Playtime for Punctum, was realized by applying a research creation methodology inspired by theatrical devising techniques, particularly improvisation, alongside conventional creative practices. The process was documented with an eye to the shifting roles required by the researcher, and the affordance of this augmented roleplay format was explored, documented, and analyzed in order to highlight insights that may be useful for future creators in related fields. The research questions for this project were as follows. How might the discoveries made through this research creation process be applied to other design interventions? What are the affordances of augmented roleplay, and how might they be explored? Nick's goals for this research intervention included two key outcomes: an interactive roleplay augmented reality installation, and an in-depth reflection on the research creation process. The research methodology employed in this project took inspiration from theater development and game design practices in the form of a research creation process. Early exploration of the AR technology is framed as research for creation, which progressed to research from creation through theater-inspired workshops and culminated in a creation as research output. The context review begins with an exploration of the terms play, interactivity, performance, and augmented space. Play is described as an unproductive, unserious activity without profit or material value, proceeding according to its own rules. And the term is situated on a spectrum from structured environments governed by rules, known as ludus, to the spontaneous and unstructured notion of paideia. Augmented roleplay is situated between these positions as an opportunity for improvisational paidic play with a ludic technological framework. Interactivity is considered in the context of audience participation in theater. Conventionally, this type of interaction depends on a particular response from the participants and does not alter the trajectory of the plot. Nick identifies a key distinction between interactivity and agency, as the difference between having a story told to you and making your own story through meaningful choices and immersion. The holodeck from Star Trek is referenced as the pinnacle of a truly immersive experience, in which there is enough computational power to respond to any possible choice or action from the user. Until that level of immersion is possible, developers must work within more limited narrative and interactive experiences. Performance is explored as a collective creative practice of communal playmaking, asking the audience participant to engage with the work as a performer. The VR experiences Osmos, created by Shar Davies in 1995, and 2017's Draw Me Close by Jordan Tannehill, are referenced as examples of augmented roleplay in which audience participation is necessary to bring these experiences to life. Augmented space is considered in the Deleuzian context of virtuality and actuality being a matter of optics, literally how our eyes process information and create ephemeral preservations of the past. Augmented space is positioned as the natural evolution of art from two-dimensional works to 3D installations and now expanding into the virtual. Nick describes his experience of struggling with a structured research by design methodology and decided to change his approach to accommodate his more improvisational inclinations. Research creation is an unfixed and varied methodological approach which can be implemented in a number of ways. Research for creation is defined by Chapman and Sawchuk as creation that is pursued as a type of research in and of itself. Research from creation aims to generate information on user responses to help build the product in question. Creation as research describes projects where creation is required in order for research to emerge. Each of these approaches led to the next as the final product was developed, prototyped, and iterated upon. Various process journals were maintained throughout the research and development of this thesis project. The research process journal reflects upon an exploration of candidate augmented reality tools such as iJack, Vuforia in Unity, and Spark AR, before moving on to candidate technologies including the HoloLens, Magic Leap, and the Vive Pro with pass-through video. After struggling to get the intended effect with these tools, Nick's primary advisor, Dr. Hiro Ji, recommended the Z Mini camera, which was ultimately attached to an HTC Vive and developed directly in Unity. This technology stack was used in conjunction with the Leap Motion hand tracking technology and assembled as a single headset which can be worn by the player. The development of several game sketches exploring the affordances of the technology was documented as the final component of the research process journal. The workshop process journal outlined the development of a collective creation process wherein participants were asked to create concepts, elements, and interactions using improvisation to work through these ideas and find meaning in them. Expert interviews with professional interactive theatre creators in Toronto were conducted in preparation for this exercise. 2 workshops were held, and through this work, the final narrative was developed. The production process journal reflects upon how the visual style was established and describes the development of the script. Finally, the rehearsal process journal documents the iteration process of working with a performer to play through the experience after the first draft was created, in order to refine it and work out bugs. The final outcome for this project is the mixed reality experience Playtime for Punctum, wherein a young woman is reminded of her childhood imaginary friend, embodied by the player, who is guided through a series of interactive experiences in which they are invited to improvise and perform. Although development was interrupted by the pandemic, production had come a long way and was able to be showcased through process documentation. The research methodologies and approach for this thesis project underwent many changes during development. However, this flexibility and adaptability seems to be crucial to an effective research creation process. The outcome is an impressive exploration of the affordances of augmented reality and how it might be used to facilitate improvisational interactive experiences. Going through this thesis project and its research outcomes led to many insights that will be helpful to consider as I begin my own process. Similarly to Nick's process, I will most likely use a research creation methodology as the primary framework for my project. I will also include a context review. However, it will likely be a significantly more extensive literature and media review, considering both scholarly work and various formats of speculative fiction media. One of the most interesting aspects of Playtime for Punctum, in my opinion, was the technology stack used to realize the experience. Supplementing a VR headset with a camera and Leap Motion hand tracking is an innovative way to create a more robust AR headset than what is currently available. This is definitely an approach that I will consider. However, I do have some hesitation for this setup, as I am particularly sensitive to the symptoms of vertigo and nausea often seen in VR users. It will be interesting to take that into consideration as I explore which technology will be most appropriate for my project. Another impressive aspect of Nick's project is the hand tracking technology, which I also hope to implement. While there are various wearable and handheld controller devices that offer this capability, the advancement of deviceless hand tracking has the potential to offer an additional level of immersion and a more intuitive experience for the user. Although both of our projects involve experimental approaches to fictional narratives and augmented reality, the research goals are quite distinct. While Nick's project explored ways to facilitate opportunities for improvisation with virtual elements in real environments, my aim is to focus more on the agential nature of media and its effect on the user's perception of reality. There were many learning opportunities gleaned from this workshop process, which I will consider as I continue to determine the research methods and methodologies and develop the framework for my thesis project.